it's time for me to take question and answers. I had to go to an automotive engineer to make that truss. I wanted to do that to the truss. Now, I had 5 very talented guys working with me, and I was the sculptor. I sculpted that thing. I sawed it up and reworked it. I did that. I was responsible for how that thing turned out, but I had help. I could not have sand. There's more surface on that thing than 2 Corvettes. It had to be hand polished. So, that's a confession, you know. Yes, Dave?
How many times, once you're finished with your artwork, look at your piece and sign it? I realize that's probably your best part, signing it and letting you know it's done. Do you give yourself before you start the next project?
Well, take up the next idea. Just get it to the drawing board and think up the next idea.
What's the average, would you say?
It depends how involved it is. Now, these were done pretty briskly. But painting, it's going to take 8 or 10 months like that one. That better be a snappy idea, you know. You get into that thing, and you're 6 months into that thing, you know, what have I done? You know, so you got to evaluate that, yes?
You talk about sophistication, and I'm wondering how you define it.
Well, it's an affectation. You know, I appreciate sophistication. You know, I've got good toilet habits and hygiene, and I wash my language. If you notice, I only said 2 cuss words this whole thing. But you know, it's a social thing to keep people on a higher plane. You know, it's a positive thing. Yes.
You're painting the hot rod race, the hot rod going up on it.
Yeah.
Did you actually witness an event like that?
I've been in hot rod wrecks. Yeah. And I've been in police chases. Yes. Well, my philosophy is to get as much energy out of a color as possible. And the way you do that is you find all of its complementary colors and you dull down to bring out the energy of the color. Now, like on the wheel down there, I said, well, I'm going to paint that wheel gray-green. And they looked at that paint and said, this is horrible. I said, no, they make the gums jump. Make that paint jump. And it worked. Yes?
Go back on your career. What's your favorite Chinese model?
When I was a young coxswain. Yeah.
I was wondering if sometimes you white out a canvas. Do you ever give up an idea midway and go, it's just
No, I make that idea work. It's not work. Yes?
Do you listen to music when you're working?
I do. I listen to classical music. It soothes me and it keeps me working slow. If I put on punk rock, then I start jumping around. Yes?
Considering the perception and introspection in some of the narratives of the artwork, how do you catalog your ideas as they come? Do you use different mediums of like voice or written or just all illustrative?
Well, you know, that always asks, how do you come up with these ideas? You don't look like the kind of guy who did this. I am continually coming up with inappropriate and off-the-wall ideas that don't fit. My criteria is never do something that's done before. It's got to be something never seen before. Then I figure out what is this worth. And I'm always got to sit down at a drawing board and I come up with 8 or 10 ideas. And of the 8 or 10, 9 of them, they're not working. So I've got a backlog of years of bad ideas, and I keep going back forward and see if there's any way I can get a lyricism out of my new ideas with these old ideas. Why did I go back on that one? I had a thing about the Piltdown Man, the caveman being phony. That worked on my mind for 20 years. I just keep having these things that are obsessive. Now, because of my run wild attitude. I never was a good commercial artist because I couldn't work with companies. I couldn't sell a product. And when I wrote to the art director, he said, well, oh, this won't work. I said, hey, pal, you know, whoa. Yeah. So, you know, I'm a person with a lot of fallibility. You know? Any other questions? Right there?
I'm sure you're asked quite often who inspired you, but of the generation that you inspired, are there any standouts or favorites of yours?
Well, I was always an artist, even young. And as I got older, and I got involved in occupations like a truck driver, and a short order cook, and a forklift operator, and working for a carnival, and ditch digger and construction, I realized, you know, I'm not going anywhere. Maybe I better concentrate on this art. And yet, when you understand it, 1 in 500 people tries to be an artist. That's all it's trying to make it. I had such a shady life that, man, I gotta make it. This is it. Any other questions? Yes.
With such raging crowd, have you ever gotten your FBI files?
I know I'm listed 3 times. I know that I'm listed 3 times. One for working for Ed Roth, one for Zap Comics, and one for a pornographic publication in the 70s. I don't know. I'm just a good citizen.
You talked about the longevity of your work. What do you think your legacy will be?
Posthumous success is bullshit. You forget it. You know, artists really bank on the fact that they try to tell people, you know, if I die, this is going to be worth a lot of money. If you ain't there selling it, pal, it's going to take a dime. Really. Thrift shops are full of geniuses' work. Any other questions? Yes.
What punk rock did you listen to?
I get that. All the LA bands, but the one band I really liked was X-Ray Specs. And I like that screaming girl that was in X-Ray Specs. She died about 5 or 6 years ago. And Lydia Lunch. Okay, is this, yeah?
If you were to be a filmmaker, if you couldn't illustrate with your hands anymore, do you think you could translate your perceptions into that?
Well, when they look back on history, it's obvious that the film industry is the #1 art medium. The #1 art medium is film. But the problem is, you need $500 million and a crew of 1,000. I can just do this. What film would I make? I think it's some pretty interesting stuff. I've written comics, so I know how to story structure. Yes.
Do any of these concepts make you cry?
Does any of my ideas make me cry? Well, I have a remorseful side, and I'm crying. So, you know, when you do art, you're the subject of other people's judgments, you know, and I can do something I'm really proud of, and sometimes it doesn't get any attention. Yes.
Has any of your buyers bought something from your best finally and say, I'm not really supposed to like this, but I do, right?
Yes. When I was in Tony Shafrazi's gallery, he got me a lot of wood chip buyers, and they bought on his judgment. So I used to be the top of the bottom, now I'm the bottom of the top. Yes.
What did Big Daddy Roth mean to you as an artist?
Roth was an enormous influence on my life, and he really helped me out. He's a remarkably great guy. And I was his art director from 1965 to 1970. I made a lot of money, and he gave me as much of a free hand as I could have. He had to reel me in continually, but I did very good with that. He was a wonderful person. He got into a lot of trouble, and in trouble with the FBI. And Ed Roth was the guy that made Outlaw Bikers a thing that you can live with now. He made Harley Davidson. Okay, as I said earlier, you're in an art class, there's 40 people there. person has a chance. It's something to like be a successful or well-known painter. It's like 1 in 500. Okay, the thing is, it's so hard. It's so hard to do it that the hardship is the artist's best friend. And the reason for that is because there's legions of people trying to be an artist, and that hardship runs them off. So that's all I can tell you. When young people come up and talk to me about it, well, I don't know. If I see a young guy and he's like really trying and he's got skill and talent, I'll take some time over there. I don't encourage people. He's been trying to get a job, man. This is rough. This is rough what it is. You know, with the Zap Comics, it started out, and there's 10 underground artists. In 2 years, there's thousands of underground artists. Thousands of them. The School of Painting, it started out with maybe 3 or 4 of us. Now there's thousands of these people doing this. It's like a psychedelic poster movement. 5 started, 1,000 ended up not making it. Well, all older artists will get sloppy. They'll get sloppy. Get poetic. The way it is. You know, art schools for the last 50 years try to loosen people up, not make them tight. You know, they use the term, he's constipated. There's actually no psychiatric term called constipated. What was it? The reverse term, expulsive. That means you shit your pants all the time. You're loose.
As you do your work, do you just help the university live in different minds?
Well, what I'm hoping for is, I took my ideas from other people and took them 1 step further, and I'm hoping young artists will see this and take it 1 step further. I'm hoping they would exponentially expand what I've done. Not copy me, but expand it. Yeah, I don't need to get off the subject, but, you know, as we walk through here, I seem like I've run down a lot of what. I like abstract expression, sexual, but there is no bad art. Bad art's when the painting falls off the wall and breaks your legs. Art is a cross between philosophy and religion. It's a belief system. Okay, I guess that's it. Okay, thank you.